Justice K. Kurup, one of India's major judicial figures of our times, is an eminent jurist of international repute. He wrote for the division bench at the High Court of Kerala, banning smoking in public places in the year 1999. Imbibing the spirit of the verdict, the Parliament of India passed a comprehensive law on tobacco control in the year 2003, followed by the Committee of Nations numbering 168. The judgment was an eye-opener and revolutionary trendsetter not only for India but for the whole world. His documentary Battling the Epidemic, highlighting the hazards of tobacco, which has been commented upon by national and international celebrities, gives the viewer a glimpse of the daring and fierce campaign which has been liberated hundreds of thousands from the quicksand of tobacco. His contributions to humanity in the field of public health and battling tobacco relentlessly and without compromise and in the face of tremendous pressure from a powerful lobby is perhaps the most monumental one ever made by a non-medical person in the annals of history. Let's hear more from this great man and his great vision.
1 billion people will die due to tobacco in the 21st century, compared to 100 million deaths during the 20th century. This is the epic story of an unsung hero. His all-out war against tobacco, the greatest killer of all times, and the saga of a committed man who has been fighting this war for the last 2 decades. Justice K. Narayana Kurup, the former acting Chief Justice of the Madras High Court. Tobacco kills 4 million people every year. That is, 1 person for every 5 seconds is killed by this lethal leaf all over the world. It will surpass AIDS as the major killer of the 21st century. In India, 1 million people die every year due to tobacco-related diseases, which are more than the number of deaths due to motor accidents, AIDS, alcohol, and drug abuse put together. Among the 250 million smokers in India, 50 million are teenagers, and their lifespan is considerably reduced over the years. Buds plucked before they blossom. Indians spend 180 billion rupees every year for the 92 billion cigarettes they smoke just to be killed very early. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, about 50 million people in India are suffering from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, coronary heart disease, peripheral artery disease, ulcer of stomach and intestine, cancers of various organs, and so on, due to tobacco. The irony is that of all the consumer products, cigarette is the only one which, when used as directed, kills its consumer. Tobacco casts this dreadful shadow over the human race by causing 25 kinds of lethal diseases and killing 50% of its regular users within 40 years. The risk of sudden death is 2 to 4 times higher in smokers.
There is a lethal piece looking like a pencil, white in color if it is small, but much bigger it is cigar. A single piece so popular you will never have in the world. But this single piece accounts for the lives of millions of Indians and elsewhere in the world. It is the greatest menace to mankind's survival. Therefore, this terrible piece of cigar or cigarette made of tobacco has to be fought fiercely, fought successfully, fought popularly, and made worldwide as a campaign. So we require an organization which is respected by the people everywhere, and that is the judiciary. Now, a judiciary itself can judge. Judges are judged by their performance, by their judgments. Now what happens is, judgments do not reach the common people. So much so, its popularity is ineffective. There is one single exception to this great unhappiness, that is unpopularity. And that great exception is a judgment on tobacco. Who made it? A little man called Narayana Kurup, Justice Narayana Kurup. He is the author of this campaign.
Awareness of this horrendous scenario led the humanism in Justice Kurup to pen the landmark verdict of the division bench of the High Court of Kerala to ban smoking in public places in 1999.
I have a fascination for medical subjects. That fascination did not cease even after I chose law as my profession. I am a subscriber to various medical journals such as British Medical Journal, which stood me in good stead in composing the judgment banning smoking in public.
This judicial intervention is the first of its kind in the world, and it has the uniqueness of addressing the scourge of tobacco smoking, coupled with a ban on smoking in public places. It was an eye-opener and revolutionary trendsetter not only in India, but also to the whole international community. Following this, Bhutan passed a law totally forbidding its population from smoking. The Indian Railways, with a network route of 63,000 kilometers, the second largest in the world, banned the sale of cigarettes and tobacco products on railway platforms and in trains throughout India.
Catalyzed by the verdict, the Indian Railways sprung into swift action, banning smoking and sale of tobacco products in railway stations and compartments throughout India. This produced a synergic effect. Firstly, as a powerful deterrent against smokers from smoking, and secondly, it protected millions of railway passengers from the hazards of passive smoke or second-hand smoke.
Mr. Somnath Chatterjee, Speaker, the House of the People. The landmark legislation banning smoking in public places owes its genesis to Justice Kurup's fight against tobacco. Inspired by the judgment, FIFA banned smoking in all the stadiums where World Cup football matches were played in 2002. The Committee of Nations, numbering 168, signed a treaty in 2003 to initiate strict anti-tobacco measures in their respective countries. The World Health Organization, the Indian Medical Association, the Ranbaxy Science Foundation and the International Medical Sciences Academy extolled this verdict as an outstanding contribution to humanity in the field of public health. Following this path-breaking judgment, India was relieved from the clutches of passive smoking. Under the law passed by the Indian Parliament, pictorial warnings on cigarette packets were made mandatory. From 1st May 2004 onwards, tobacco advertisements were banned and the silver screen was prohibited from depicting smoking scenes. From July 2004 onwards, the centre hall and lobbies in the Indian Parliament House was declared no smoking zone by the Speaker. Sale of tobacco to minors was banned along with its sale in areas within a radius of 100 yards of any educational institution. Even after this historic verdict, Justice Kurup did not turn his back on the serious issue of paramount social concern. He strongly believes that mere laws and treaties and massive financial aid by philanthropists by themselves are not of much value unless they are backed by positive and sustained action.